Na 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 na. It's the news, baby. It's the news. I'm not happy with you.
I thought you were going to say daily news. You're not happy with me.
I'm not happy with you.
I didn't know what you were going to go for, so I didn't want to sing along. I could have gone like na 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 na, and then just left you to do the other bit.
Yeah, I didn't know I was going to do that.
No.
Yesterday, your list revealing that pro wrestling is predetermined is an absolute disgrace and a lie.
It was April Fool's Day, mate.
No, it went too far. It went too far.
Nobody watches Graded, so I just needed to get some really ridiculous stuff out there.
I clicked dislike. Let's take a look at the headlines. WWE have invited John Oliver to WrestleMania. There's a big change to the WrestleMania 35 main event following last night's Raw. And finally, a former TNA champion has announced his retirement. So as you may have seen, if you haven't, you are living under a rock. John Oliver absolutely tore apart WWE this week on the show.
Blowing them apart repeatedly.
Yeah, I mean, he was very outspoken about the Saudi deal, and now he has talked about the independent contractor status of WWE performers. He's talked about the untimely deaths that surround the entire pro wrestling industry. He's talked about Roman Reigns and his hair and other things.
Makes him look like. The thing is, there's been throughout history so many people that have trashed pro wrestling and have done so in a manner where it's just like, oh, look at this, and they've looked at, say, the Attitude Era, like how it was immoral and all these different things, but John Oliver speaks a lot of sense.
He does, and he speaks as a wrestling fan as well, which is actually really nice. Anyway, WWE, following this, there's been massive media outrage. There's coverage all over the place. People are taking to social media, complaining about WWE's treatment of their performers. WWE have now released a statement. And that statement reads, John Oliver is clearly a clever and humorous entertainer. However, the subject matter covered in his WWE segment is no laughing matter. Prior to airing, WWE responded to his producers, refuting every point in his one-sided presentation. John Oliver simply ignored the facts. The health and wellness of our performers is the single most important aspect of our business, and we have a comprehensive, long-standing talent wellness program. We invite John Oliver to attend WrestleMania this Sunday to learn more about our company. You think they'd have their hands full on Sunday?
Yeah, they're probably going to be a little bit busy, and they'll be shooting all sorts of stuff backstage, documentaries, Total Divas, Total Bellas, ride-alongs, who knows, but it's just, nobody's really disputing at the moment that their talent wellness policy is out of line. I think they really take it very seriously these days.
They do. There's been massive improvements.
There's just a big thing that they are neglecting to mention in this statement, and that's the independent contractor status.
Yeah, I think, with relation to the talent wellness stuff, that covers wrestlers post-retirement, which it currently doesn't. And we do see WWE helping people out, retired superstars with rehab, but there's nothing contractually that means that they have to support somebody if they're injured and post WWE career, and that's something that I feel like we both think should change. And John Oliver certainly seems to think so. It's interesting. Will he turn up? No, probably not.
I hope he Enzo's it on the front row.
He's invited. That's the opposite.
He just turns up and just starts going wild.
Gronk woman pulls him off.
Pulls him off.
No, well, come. All right. Toilet humour. So we will see if he turns up. There are a lot of big changes to be made. Dave Meltzer has commented on this. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter says,
doesn't want much.
It should be a very simple response. If WWE grants talent employee status and provides pension plans and, most important, post-career injury care, then he should say he would love to attend. It's quite a lot to get in order by the weekend, but we will see.
The thing with the wellness is, if you work for WWE for a long time but then you go elsewhere and then you have a career-ending injury elsewhere, would they cover that?
I'm not sure.
There's so many different aspects to it which are quite concerning and worrying, but I do think we need that sort of coverage for legends. It makes sense.
I agree. I'm fed up of seeing Indiegogo campaigns of guys who desperately need help, and they're not asking.
Perry Saturn broke my heart.
There are a lot of instances of that happening, and it shouldn't be that way. These guys have given a lot for our entertainment. They've made the WWE a lot of money, and I think now is the time that this should happen. Other wrestlers have reacted to the John Oliver segment. Jim Cornette. Well, after a complete viewing, this is the absolute most truthful outside media piece I've seen on wrestling in over 40 years. And you obviously haven't seen Pro Wrestling's Greatest Secrets Exposed, Jim Cornette.
Cornette always tries to speak the truth, I think, to a degree when it comes to the wrestling business as well, in terms of his own opinion.
Yeah.
He doesn't sort of go back on his own opinion very often.
No, he does not.
It's good to see that he's supporting this.
Absolutely. Jesse Ventura says, thank you for covering this. Jesse Ventura was the guy who, in the 80s, originally tried to unionise pro wrestling, departed the WWE fairly shortly after.
Yeah, I mean, well, Jesse Ventura saw it as a way, I think it was more like, we're appearing on TV, we are actors, we are the same as, anybody who's on a soap opera, we're just, the difference is we do something sports related with it.
Sure.
So why wouldn't they be able to unionise? Why wouldn't they be able to join the Actors Guild? Why wouldn't they be able to do all these things?
Well, sure. I think essentially it's the wording of independent contractor is that they can't work elsewhere. They are signed with WWE. That's not all. Anyway, CM Punk has said, "I S my britches. Please retweet at Last Week Tonight. I love you at I am John Oliver," throwing back to the time that he pooped his pants on SmackDown in a match with Dean Ambrose, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, Joey Ryan has rather humorously said, WWE, we haven't done a good job of listening to fans, but that will change. And now the fans are the authority. Fans, we want wrestlers to have a union. WWE, no, not like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we at fault now for there not being caring?
We're the general managers, so maybe we are. So let's announce it now. As the general managers, have a whip round. There's been a big change to the WrestleMania 35 main event. Of course, that triple threat involving Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair, announced on last night's Raw by the Queen, Dom herself, Stephanie McMahon, of course. Who else? She has announced that it will now be for both titles.
And it's a 4-way and she's winning.
And it's a 4-way. She did joke about that. Fair play to her. So yeah, obviously Becky Lynch was without a title. Ronda Rousey, the Raw Women's Champion. Charlotte Flair, now the SmackDown Champion after that Asuka match. Which was a great match. It was a very good match, but
just made me sad.
Yeah, and Asuka has now been confirmed for the Women's Battle Royal as well, which is a tremendous shame. Anyway, back to the match. This looks like it's leading to the unification of the belts.
Well, I'm thinking a lot down the line of the fact that SmackDown's going to Fox. Fox are obviously going to want the biggest stars. I worry that we could be seeing the end of the brand split. Altogether, stars just transition like they used to between shows, and it means that Fox can be if we want Triple H, if we want Daniel Bryan, if we want whoever, we can just get them on the show.
Sure.
And that will, be wonderful for promotion, but at the same time, there's 1,000 people in that locker room. You can't get all of them on TV in 3 months, never mind one.
Yeah, no, well, they struggle with both Raw and SmackDown now. There are superstars who don't appear for weeks and months. Hello, Sanity. No, they were on last week. They got mauled by The Miz. I don't know. I think what that comes down to for me is the reason that the brand split happened was largely so that they could market house shows on the same night as TV, and they could run more house shows, essentially. Yeah. But if this billion-dollar contract is worth more than that to them, then they will do that, I'm sure.
I think, when you've got all the press the next day, because obviously there's always the day after Mania press, where they go to, is it Good Morning America or whatever, and they do the whole thing. And to have a women's champion sitting there with both belts, I think that's a very impressive image.
Yeah, absolutely. Becky's winning, and it'll be a great moment. That's confirmed. What, the women's
Brock's
title
just
match?
Going to come down and take
I think Brock is winning. Anyway, this is the first time that a WrestleMania main event has had 2 defending champions in it since WrestleMania 6 in 1990.
Really?
Warrior Hogan.
Oh,
isn't that interesting?
Lovely.
Isn't that interesting? Let's move on. Sad news now, as a former TNA champion has announced his retirement on social media, and that man is the former 3-time TNA X-Division Champion, Amazing Red.
Yeah, it's really sad. He was a pioneer of the X-Division and just sort of, cruiserweight wrestling in general, in terms of the modern age, and he doesn't get anywhere near as much love as he should.
No, he's somebody that nobody ever brings up when they talk about the X-Division, and he was, his style of offense was so innovative. He was tremendously fun to watch all the time. And I think this is sad because he's done it via social media. He's released a video and he's cancelled all of his shows, all of his independent bookings over WrestleMania weekend. The reason that he's given is that he thinks he's done everything that he can possibly do in wrestling. He's getting on in age, I guess. He's not an old man by any means, but his style of offense he can't necessarily do as well.
He was the type of guy I was hoping would maybe come to NXT as one of the older, the guys that just come in for a bit of a spot run and put younger guys over and help. But,
yeah. He'd be a hell of a trainer,
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, he must have seen.
He is still training now, as well. He's training new stars, not with WWE. He is also a one-time NWA World Tag Team Champion with none other than another very underrated man that not enough people talk about, Jerry Lynn.
Oh, Jerry Lynn.
Jerry Lynn. Yeah. Let's not get into Jerry Lynn. Let's not talk about Jerry Lynn. Amazing Red. Thank you for your contributions to wrestling, and you were bloody good. And finally, WWE have teased a new WrestleMania match. Another one. 14 confirmed so far. So on WWE.com and via their YouTube channel yesterday, they released a video of the Raw Tag Team Champions, The Revival. Chin up, it's wrestling!
Wrestling!
Woo! They released a video of The Revival being confronted by not Aleister Black and Ricochet.
I mean, they've got bigger things to worry about, you know. They've got TakeOver.
They have got bigger things to worry about. It was Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. The Edgeheads confronted them, and The Revival said, so Kurt and Zack said, we want a match at WrestleMania 35. The Revival said, yeah, we'll take it into consideration. I think all of us thought that we were going to see, finally, Kurt Hawkins win something, and that was going to be the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Yeah.
I think that was what everyone expected. Then those bloody Saturday Night Live losers came along, and now it's going to be Braun Strowman, or maybe one of them, I don't know. Maybe Apollo, he's being pushed strong before this. He's very good at Battle Royals, we know that. Will this take place? If it does, it's on the pre-show, that's almost for certain.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have those belts and the Revival on the show. Like the show as a whole. Like, I think Mania every year, every single belt should be defended. It just makes it feel much more special.
Agreed. No, it should be on there. But there's no build to it. Will it happen?
Yeah.
We'll see. It might just be a squash, and then they'll get back to Aleister Black and Ricochet, who will undoubtedly take the titles down the line. We'll quickly run down the card. The main event is, of course, Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch in a winner-takes-all triple threat match. You got Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins for the Universal title. Triple H versus Batista in a no-holds-barred match. If Triple H loses, he must retire from in-ring competition.
I could see that happening, and it just being like, what?
No, there's money to be made off Triple H
retiring.
retiring.
I've got a bigger theory
money
that I'm going to run down at the end of this list.
Ooh,
so,
the end of this list. Buddy Murphy versus Tony Nese for the Cruiserweight title.
Can't wait.
Kurt Angle versus Baron Corbin in Kurt Angle's retirement match. Shane O'Mac versus The Miz. AJ versus Randy the Armbar. Not Randy the Armbar, that was Randy, the Armbar. Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio. Lashley versus Finn Balor in a Raw match for some reason. Roman versus Drew. The Boss and Hug Connection versus the Divas of Doom versus the Iconics versus Nia and Tamina. Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE title. And the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. What's your theory, Sam?
I think Brock Lesnar's going to lose, and then I think Kofi's going to win. And then I think he's going to be so angry that when Kofi has his little moment with his brand new belt that's not made of hemp, Brock's just going to come down, beat him mercilessly, and just walk out with it. Not even win, just take the belt.
Oh.
I think it'll be horrible. And
then go to Fox because all the money's there?
Yeah. And then you have Brock. Because they announced that Brock would maybe be appearing on SmackDown.
We sort of do a video series that this would be more in fitting with Sam. That's called Predictions.
Yeah.
Check those out later this week.
Ooh.
See you later.
Nice.
Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.